Well, good day, Michael here. Today I'm going to do another test on this particular knife from Tassie Tiger. And today's test is going to be on some wood bushcraft, not really bushcraft, but just do some light batoning and some carving of some wood just to see how it performs under those sort of conditions. Yesterday I did a rope cut test on its first edge, which would be the factory edge. And we want to see how it performs up against the EF131, which apparently is in dc53. So this is the knife I'm replacing, but I'm going to give it a decent go with the wood just to see how it performs. So I'll chop and change between the two and see what happens with that. This one is a hollow ground, so it's going to be fairly thin behind the edge, and we'll see if it's actually tough enough for that sort of light task. And that's all I'd ever ask of a knife, really, is to do some pine sticks. Certainly not going to be hammering through hardwood or anything crazy like that. The point, the tip is always going to be a bit finer because of that hollow grind than if you had a different sort of grind. It would be thicker at that point. So I'm not about to do any tough tests on that tip either. But yeah, it should take a little bit of stabbing, movement back and forth, which is pretty much all you'd want from a knife. And if it couldn't cope with that, then we have a problem. So that's not asking it to do too much. It's the Joker test. And that's pretty perfect. Let's just make sure with the Eafengrow. I'd be very surprised if it didn't hold up to that sort of a test. That's minimal to ask of a knife. And it's got quite a thick tip, so it'd be pretty crazy if something happened to that. Both of those are fine. So that's the first test. Both of them are passed. I'm just going to do some light batoning through this. Do a couple of each to see how it goes. We'll start off with the Eafengrow. And this is just blunt force to see how it copes with that. Got a bit of a knot there. So pretty alright on that first one. Can't see anything too bad with that. We'll just do a quick test, because man, if that had a hiccup from that, yeah, perfect. That would be an issue. So I might just change my glasses so that I can see a bit better on that edge. So I'll do 5 of those. Not very scientific, but it will do for now with the Eafengrow. And really it should do this quite easily. If it didn't, I did make a video up a little while ago, just having fun at the whole bushcraft scenario type thing and firecraft. But this one I'm actually wanting to put it to the test. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then we'll try Tasmanian Tiger. 4. And 5. So the EF131 didn't have the best edge retention as far as cutting that coarse rope goes. And let's see if it holds up a bit better under the blunt force test of toughness. So that, no worries at all. Doing that easy. So perfect with that. Just goes to show you that the rope test seems to be a lot tougher than the wood test. I'm just doing a little bit of light batoning. Anyway, we shall try the other one with 5 of those and see how it goes. Different piece of wood. I could see this could turn out to be quite a long video if I'm not careful. There's not much one there, so we'll get onto the thicker stuff. And really, having a bigger knife, you would want it to be able to do some of this sort of stuff, definitely. If I was out camping, I would expect it to be able to do this. Otherwise, it's no good for me. 1, 2, 3. And yeah, the hollow grind's never going to be as good. Other grinds, but honestly, for something like pine, it should do that fine. Righto, so we shall just give that a quick test and make sure no hiccups. And easy. I do have to say I've tested some of the Chinese knives on that, and honestly some of them have had glinting and all sorts of edge rolls and whatever just on doing that test alone, which is extremely disappointing. So we'll do one more round of those to get it up to 10, and then we'll do a little bit of cross batoning. But I'd say, judging by this, that it'd do a pretty good job. You'd have to do quite a bit before you started to dull the edge. Well, I think the rope test is so good because of its edge stability as well as edge retention. And yeah, we'll just get through this. I'll do the same with the other one. That feels pretty good. And let's just do some cross batoning. Hopefully you can see what's happening here. Just trying to figure out the best way of doing that on this log. Easy. Do 2 of those. Should have done it in the same place, hey? Righto, so that's pretty good. The edge is a little bit dirty. Well, it did put a little bit of a chink in that edge, I think. Yep. Definitely took something out of that edge doing the cross betoning. Let's see. Yeah. Right there. Just slight. Oh, you can hardly even see it. I could see it looking at it. It's slicing through, but I can definitely see along that edge where it's given it just a slight little chip, but it's not actually showing up. Let me go down the page and slow. Yeah. So unless you're looking at that really closely, you wouldn't be able to tell. Yet I can see it. And this is probably where the hollow grind loses out. Great for cutting tasks. I can see it. I can't feel it on paper. Let's do the next stage of the test, the EF, and see how it fares. Well, it's not a very exciting video, but it is good to try a different test on this. But overall, the rope really does show it up pretty quickly. That's not even a good piece. I'll have to do that again. Well, Eafengrow, I think, does do an easier job of betoning. Got a knot there. So pretty easy. Let's do a quick test. I can't see how it would have any difficulty with that. But the cross betoning seems like it might be a little bit more of a test. Yeah. No worries there. Right, so let's just do find a nice stick for a little bit of cross betoning and see how it fares. And Another test, didn't seem to have too many issues with that. Yeah, perfect. Not an issue at all. So really, the EF on that account is winning from what I can see. Oh, how did this happen? How did this happen? Right, let's just do a quick, oh man, I'm going to do a feather stick. After making a mockery of the whole thing, I don't even know if I should do this. I tried to make the worst ones I could do. And I'm probably not that far off what it was, but really this isn't going to show too much. I mean, we know it's sharp. Ease of use, I suppose. I should have got a ferro rod so I could see how they both spark it, because I know everyone likes to see that. And I forgot to grab it. Interesting. Let's just have a look at this one. I'm a bit out of practice for this. It's doing a fair job. It really is quite rough. I mean, you really should be doing it the whole length. You're really good at it. You'd go down the whole length and not just a little bit towards the end. So you'd have to smooth it out first, get rid of the edges. So, all up so far, the Eafengrow is probably winning. And I might just do, just to test that a little bit more, just a little bit more of pounding across. It seems a good test of its hardness. Do one more like that. Just do about halfway. Give that a quick test and then we'll wrap it up. Nothing. So Eafengrow didn't mind the pounding too much actually on that test. do a couple more of the other one. Because it seems to be a little bit weaker on that edge stability. I don't think it's done anything worse to it. Let's just do a quick test. Oh, there's a hiccup. Definitely a hiccup right there. Yeah. So we would actually have to say in this small little combat, the Eafengrow wins. Look at that. So I might process the rest of this with both knives, and we shall see how they both perform after I've done a whole heap more. So I'm not going to put you through that pain, but I'll just let you know at the end of it the end result of them pounding through this pine. But so far, Eafengrow wins. Goodbye. Right, so welcome back. Just to finish the video off, I've cut even piles of wood, and there is a little bit of glinting now on the Eafengrow, but not enough to affect the edge. And same thing with this one, because it's a hollow grind, it's still sharp enough, even though it's catching a little bit, slice straight through that paper. But too many issues. So the last thing that I wanted to do was actually just to baton through this thick pipe a little bit, and just to, because it's consistent result, and just to see how it goes against something that's fairly tough like that. So I'm going to start the Eafengrow just in case it really doesn't like it, and we'll just do that 5 times. To see how it goes, batoning through something a little bit harder. Oh. So I can't, it's very difficult to cut through this, just using the blade edge. But batoning is alright, it shouldn't do anything to the edge. So that's 5 of that, just to finish it off. We'll have a go at the hollow grind. It's still slicing paper pretty easily. The Eafengrow, a little bit to my surprise. Let's try this one. The Tasmanian Tiger. Where to do it? Do about there, I think. 5. Actually goes through it easier. much easier. Oh, look at that. Much easier than the Eafengrow, but let's have a look. Yeah, see, it is hanging up after all that more than the Eafengrow. More on that belly there. You can just feel it jagged along that edge. Not really bad, but worse than the Eafengrow. So I'd have to say that the Eafengrow has won that battle. So what am I going to do with that? I'm going to sharpen them both up again, and I'm going to do another rope test to see if the performance in this one is picked up and is better. And if they're much the same, I don't know. This one's slightly bigger, different grind, but we'll leave that there for today. Thank you for watching. Bye.